Welcome to the Omniversity Podcast on Spotify and other platforms. I'm your host, Alfred Webre, and today is Wednesday, August 14th, 2024, and we're continuing our journey along the positive timeline and the peaceful transfer of power in the United States on January 20th, 2025. And we're continuing exploring this through 4 books. You're welcome to join us in this exploration. This is the book that we're exploring now. You can find this book on, I'm sharing screen. Time Screen is the book that we're viewing now. Time Screen, the 100-year secret chronography plot to break apart America using time travel, Trump, and treason. And that is the plot that most the public has been experiencing. Most of the public, since Donald Trump came down the escalator at Trump Tower in the run-up to the 2016 election. That's actually one of the segments of the 100-year secret chronography plot to break apart America using time travel, Trump, and treason. The chronography is the secret time travel government. And we're now coming to the final episodes of it. The plot was ended successfully on January 6, 2021, when Vice President Mike Pence refused to continue it. And it's going to further conclude on January 20th, 2025, with a peaceful transfer of power to the new American president, democratically elected. And that'll be the end of the 100-year secret chronography plot to break apart America using time travel, Trump, and treason. And this is the first of 4 books that I've written and published on this 100-year secret chronography plot, and that are available simply by going, if you want to, I mean, we'll be covering them here on this free podcast, but if you want to follow along, you can go to Amazon.com or whatever Amazon in your country, and just enter my name, Alfred Webre, and it'll take you right to those books. So now what we're going to do is continue in this podcast. And the podcast lasts between 30 and 60 minutes. Each day are free podcasts. So here we go with a continuation of the podcast. In this new book, Time Screen, futurist Alfred Webre exposes a 100-year unlawful, secret, and deceptive chronography plot to break up the constitutional United States of America through quantum access time travel through Donald J. Trump. That's the Trump that we all know as a key intentional actor in violation of Article 3, Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution, prohibiting treason as, quote, levying war against the United States, which Donald Trump has been doing covertly as part of this deceptive chronarchy plot, which he intentionally has been carrying out. So let me just get a drink here for my throat. With evidence characterizing Ingersoll Lockwood, an 1890s American political writer, New York bar and lawyer and novelist, as a time travel operations embedded local handler for the chronarchy. The chronarchy, again, that's a neologism meaning those who rule through time, the secret time travel government. The new book, Time Screen, demonstrates how the chronarchy, through Ingersoll Lockwood's two books that are entitled Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey, these were published in the 1890s, and 1900, or The Last President. Interesting how Donald J. Trump named his son with model Melania Baron. So he knows what he's doing. He's been briefed on that. Intentionally implanted and published key memes, tropes, and time travel plot defectors related to Donald J. Trump's central historical role as an intentional, covert Russian and chronarchy agent of influence in a 100-year plot to break up America through time travel, Trump, and treason. Alfred recounts his own 1971, that's my own 1971 meeting with the top secret DARPA CIA time travel unit. After DARPA CIA time traveled his landmark book, Exopolitics, from 2005 back to 1971, using classified quantum access technologies. Continuing the disclosure narrative, Alfred reveals a stunning January 1977 meeting with Stanford Research Institute futurist Willis Harman, who told him of the future balkanization of the United States. Quote, Alfred, in the future, the United States of America will break up into many regions. U.S. Presidents George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Donald J. Trump, and Joseph Robinette Biden would be pre-identified and groomed on a common consensual policy by the DARPA CIA chronarchy secret presidential time travel pre-identification program. Time Screen documents a 40-year penetration of Russian intelligence into the, quote, real Donald Trump and Trump Tower becoming an intentional deep cover Russian asset. With Russian intelligence aid asset, Donald Trump's winning of the US presidency in November 2016 as pre-identified by DARPA CIA time travel, a covert Russian spy became US president, accounting for the determination of FBI, CIA to remove and block Trump through first the, quote, Russian dossier, and then two impeachments, a documented 2020 US presidential Trump election loss, the Congressional January 6, 2021 Select Committee, the 8/8/2022 Lionsgate FBI search and seizure of Trump's headquarters at Mar-a-Lago on espionage grounds. The new book focuses on structural signs of a possible chronarchy time travel manufactured breaking up of the United States, including the 2022 adoption by the Texas State Republican Party calling for the secession of Texas from the United States, and a recent poll showing that a plurality of Trump voters in Trump-leading states favors secession from the United States of America. About 33% of Trump voters in so-called red states say they personally fare better if their state, quote, became an independent country. With a publication date of November 9, 2022, Alfred's new book presents proactive solutions to keep the constitutional body of the United States of America together so that the positive American experiment does not fall victim to covert time travel predicted projections of the chronarchy, although there are strong forces plotting for the breaking up of the constitutional USA. 2022 Diary by Alfred Webre. That's the link to the second book that we're covering here through January 20th, 2025 and beyond. Alfred starts keeping a daily 2022 diary relating to, quote, a 100-year chronarchy plot to break up America using time travel, Trump, and treason on Monday, November 7th, 2022, the eve of a powerful celestial configuration in our sun, earth, and moon, known as a blood moon lunar eclipse, to occur on 6:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on U.S. midterm election Tuesday, November 8th, 2022. Alfred's first 2022 diary entry for November 7th, 2022 is how Buddha achieved enlightenment during a full lunar eclipse, a potential crown chakra soul enlightenment that Americans on Tuesday, November 8th, 2022 can also collectively share in the first midterm election since the chronarchy time travel predicted Trump treasonous failed insurrection of January 6, 2020. In 2022 Diaries November 9, 2022 entry, Alfred's time screen press release goes global, Trump, time travel wrecking ball in a 100-year chronarchy plot to break apart America. And that was on EIN Presswire. By Friday, November 11, 2022, diary manifests Alfred's profound insight of the day, hypothesis. Perhaps the 100-year secret chronarchy plot to tear apart America using time travel, Trump, and treason is not a future plot. The plot has already been defeated. This 100-year secret chronarchy plot was defeated, and its culmination point was January 6, 2021. That is why Trump fought so hard that day and why he is fixated. Because at the soul level, Trump knows that the 100-year secret chronarchy plot to break apart in America was stopped on January 6, 2021, not on some future date of Trump's hypothesized or supposed second election in 2024. Alfred Webre's 2022 diary documents a cosmic time travel override to keep the constitutional United States of America intact and covers a dramatic period from Monday, November 7th, 2022 to January 1st, 2023, and will be published on President's Day, Monday, February 20th, 2023. 2022 Diary and the time travel-based works by futurist Alfred Webre are among the only analytical and historical sources documenting the 100-year chronarchy secret plot to break apart America using time travel, Trump, and treason, and how the Constitution of the United States of America is preserved intact by a time travel override. About author Alfred Webre. Futurist Alfred Webre is a change agent whose principal activities are: 1, founding the science of exopolitics through his 2000 book Exopolitics, discovery of the Omniverse as the third major cosmological body after the universe and the multiverse, through which humanity understands the cosmos through his Omniverse trilogy, including Emergence of the Omniverse, and 3, promulgation of the positive future equation, through which humans co-create a positive future on planet Earth, published in his book, My Journey Landing Heaven on Earth. 4, public expose in his book, The Chronarchy of an Interdimensional Hidden Power Structure, monitoring the time-space of Earth as its domain of influence and operating as a secret government using quantum access time travel to carry out its operations and mandates. 5, a top secret time travel based, a revelation on the life and teachings of Jesus. 6, a public expose of the 100-year secret chronarchy plot to break apart America in his book Time Screen. 7, tracking the Antichrist. And 8, 2012 diary. Time Screen, Table of Contents. Part 1, Donald John Trump as a time travel wrecking ball. Part 2, was citizen and U.S. President Donald John Trump, 1980, from 1980 to January 6, 2021, a Russian intelligence asset, spy, and Article 3 of the U.S. Constitution traitor. Part 3, Operation Time Screen, November 22, 2022 midterm elections. Part 4, Color Revolution, post January 2023. Part 5, Civil War against the MAGAs. And epilogue, Manifesting a Positive Future, which is what the current Omniversity podcast that you're tuned into now is doing. Welcome aboard. Part 1, the chronarchy. Donald John Trump as a time travel wrecking ball. Scene 8, linking up with UFO contactee Jimmy Carter, December 1976. Dinner at Townhouse on Capitol Hill with Jimmy Carter, Inner Circle, Washington, D.C., 20002. This is December 1976. With the congressional establishment of the House Select, this is sort of a time travel timeline of how we got to where we are. And so this is going back to December 1976. and linking up with UFO contactee Jimmy Carter. With the congressional establishment of the House Select Committee on Assassinations, HSCR, in September 1976, Alfred, it's myself, commuted between his Green Street loft in Lower Manhattan at 130 Green Street, New York, and Washington, D.C., where the Assassination Information Bureau, an NGO of which I was a co-director, and a growing network of researchers were gathering to monitor the House Select Committee, HSCA, investigation in a process Alfred called, quote, public interest counterintelligence. This is the process that we're following here, public interest counterintelligence. So we're countering the chronography and now publishing it for those who wish to see and follow. Shortly after the November 1976 US presidential election, which Jimmy Carter narrowly won against former Warren Commission member Gerald Ford, a lawyer from Atlanta, Georgia, had called Alfred to a meeting at the Carlisle, a midtown Manhattan hotel. At the meeting, the lawyer told Alfred he was a representative of the incoming president, Jimmy Carter, to the House Select Committee on Assassinations. Alfred had gone to Georgetown Preparatory School with a member of the Spaulding family of prominent Atlanta lawyers and had no reason to doubt the Atlanta lawyer, who was a member of this Spaulding law firm. The Atlanta lawyer representing Jimmy Carter at the HSCA invited Alfred to meet some of the Carter Inner Circle in Washington, D.C. Alfred's meeting with the people in the incoming President Jimmy Carter's Inner Circle took place at a handsome townhouse on Capitol Hill in December 1976 during the transition period of the Carter presidency. The Inner Circle people at the dinner, all male, were not the Georgia Mafia or the 12 Apostles. Quote, JC and the 12 Apostles was a nickname for the Carter team. The Inner Circle that night was close to people in the Georgia Mafia who would come to be important to Alfred's work in the coming 2 years, 1977 to 78. At the dinner, Alfred listened closely and familiarized himself with the Jimmy Carter players in the subculture. Are you going to work for Peanut? Asked one. Peanut was a term of endearment for Jimmy Carter by those in the Inner Circle. Carter domestic policy advisor Stuart Eisenstadt and Carter's press secretary were to play key roles in Alfred's immediate future during the Carter administration. Though Alfred was invited to dinner with Carter aides in his role as public interest watchdog on the House Select Committee on Assassinations, Alfred was also intrigued by another aspect of Jimmy Carter's persona. Carter had won the White House on an explicit platform to open the US government UFO and extraterrestrial files. And this policy related directly to the twin platform that Alfred had been working on since 1973, public recognition of the extraterrestrial presence. During the 1976 presidential campaign, President Carter had talked about his 1969 UFO sighting in Leary, Georgia, later memorialized in Carter's 1973 UFO report. Describing his 1969 UFO sighting to reporters at a Southern Governors Conference during his 1976 presidential campaign, Carter told the reporter, "It was the darndest thing I ever seen. It was big, it was very bright, it changed colors, and it was about the size of the moon. We watched it for 10 minutes, but none of us could figure it out what it was. One thing's for sure, I'll never make fun of people who say they've seen unidentified objects in the sky. If I become president, I'll make every piece of information in this country has about UFO sightings available to the public and the scientists." Jimmy Carter interest in UFO, in extraterrestrial life, and UFOs. President Carter claims to have witnessed an unidentified flying object in 1969. He remains the only US president to have formally reported a UFO. He filed a report with the International UFO Bureau in Oklahoma City after a request from that organization. During his presidential campaign, Carter promised to reveal the truth about alleged UFO cover-up. Through Stanford Research Institute, Mr. Alfred Webre was principal investigator for a proposed civilian scientific study of extraterrestrial communication presented to and developed with Carter White House staff. This took place during the period from May 1977 until the fall of 1977. President Carter's official statement placed on the Voyager spacecraft for its trip outside our solar system on June 16, 1977, stated, "We cast this message into the cosmos. Of the 200 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy, some, perhaps many, may have inhabited planets and spacefaring civilization. If one such civilization intercepts Voyager and we can understand these recorded contents, here is our message. We are trying to survive our time so we may live into yours. We hope someday, having solved the problems we face, to join a community of galactic civilizations. This record represents our hope and our determination and goodwill in a vast and awesome universe." That December 1976 night, during his dinner with Carter's inner circle on Capitol Hill, the idea came to Alfred of a Carter White House investigation into the extraterrestrial presence as a step President Jimmy Carter could feasibly undertake that was to equal to the historic occasion of his election. Certainly the fact that Carter had defeated Gerald Ford was cosmic justice, Alfred thought. Following the 1966 UFO sightings in Michigan, Ford, who had represented the state, secured a hastily arranged congressional hearings on April 5th, 1966, where the principal witness, Defense Secretary Robert Strange McNamara, architect of the Edsel and the Vietnam War, administered another classic military-industrial complex cover-up, calling the UFO swamp gas and an illusion at the congressional hearings. Alfred realized that Jimmy Carter's 1973 report and his public mention of his own UFO experience on the 1976 presidential campaign increased the probability that Carter himself was not only a UFO contactee, but an extraterrestrial contactee, even though Carter consciously denied it. Carter's 1969 contact experience would have far-reaching implications if he were found to be an extraterrestrial contactee or abductee. Alfred later speculated on the possibility that Jimmy Carter was in fact an extraterrestrial contactee. Is Jimmy Carter an extraterrestrial abductee? Jimmy Carter's profile as a potential UFO abductee. We have now reached the 31-minute stage in this Omniversity podcast. And we thank you very much. And we'll be continuing in our next Omniversity podcast. Thank you for following it today. This is Omniversity Podcast. I'm your host, Alfred Webre.